I mentioned at the top of the show that given tonight's events, tonight's dramatic events, tonight's Republican desperation move in Wisconsin to pass this union stripping bill despite not having a quorum. I mentioned at the top of the show tonight that protesters in Wisconsin were reconvening at the state capitol. We have just gotten in some footage of what is happening at the state capitol in Madison right now. Let's roll what we have.
Our house! This is our house!
We just got that footage in tonight from the state capitol in Madison, Wisconsin. Joining us now in studio is award-winning filmmaker Michael Moore, fresh off his own very well-received barn-burning speech in Madison this weekend. Michael, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. And I just want to say anybody who lives within driving distance of Madison, Wisconsin right now should make their way to the Capitol. I would love to see thousands of people there right now, there in that Capitol building, in that rotunda, out on the lawn, whatever it takes. I mean, really, this is war. This is a class war that's been leveled against the working people of this country. And at some point, people are going to just have to stand up and say, nonviolently, this is enough. We're not taking it anymore. And I think these actions that happened today in Wisconsin and in Michigan, where the governor and well, the Senate today in Michigan, the House has already passed a version of this bill. They're going to get together now, hopefully. That's their plan, and the governor will sign it. And they are stripping the democratic rights of the people of the state of Michigan. I mean, they literally, at this point, the governor can dissolve a town, the elected officials of the town. A month ago, if you or I on this show had said, you know what, we think that, Rachel and I think that the government should have the ability to remove the elected mayor and city council of any town it feels like and put in one guy in charge of the town. What do you think would have been written or said about us? The fact that they think they can get away with this? I mean, you said it all in the last segment there. That what happened 3 years ago in 2008. What happened is they realized that they could get away with murder. They realized that they could literally loot the Treasury. They could play with people's pension funds on Wall Street. They could destroy the economy. They could essentially do what they could to eliminate the middle class. And there would be no response from the people. There would be no revolt. People would just take it, and people took it. People have been taking this now for about 30 years, ever since Reagan fired the air traffic controllers, and we should have stopped them then. We shouldn't have crossed those picket lines. People shouldn't have flown those planes. And once they saw they could get away with that 30 years ago, bit by bit by bit, right up until 2008, and that was the big enchilada for them. And they got away with it. People didn't do anything about it. None of them went to jail. None of them are in jail for this theft. And so it comes now 2011, hey, why don't we just vote to just take away people's democratic rights? We can just eliminate the mayor of a town. We can just dissolve a school district. We can, in Wisconsin, we can just take away the right of working people to sit down and talk across the table about the things that are of concern to them. They think they can get away with this. They honestly think they can get away with this. And I don't think they will get away with it. And I hope that tomorrow, people are in Michigan, are in that Lansing Rotunda, packing that place. On Friday afternoon, the students, I just read this on the internet, the students in Madison, Wisconsin are calling for not only in Wisconsin, but a nationwide student walkout of high schoolers. Last hour of school, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, wherever 2 o'clock is in your time zone, you walk out of that school and call the local media and blog about it and take pictures and get everybody organized. There's going to be a massive student walkout Friday afternoon. Tomorrow in Indiana, 20,000 people you mentioned there, hopefully more at the state capitol. This has to continue day after day after day, and these governors are going to have to step down. They're going to be recalled. They're going to be impeached. They've broken the law. There's no way they can get away with this.
How does it make a difference for people to protest? How does it make a difference that student walkout tonight in Madison? How does it translate into it making a difference?
It's already made it. Look at the change, just of the polls you've cited. Just in 1 month, the public opinion of the governor of Wisconsin, of the legislature, of our support for unions and their rights, everything has turned in favor of the working people. And it's been because the people in Madison, the people of Wisconsin, have stood up and have been there every single day. And they've helped to turn people around on this. The American people have woken up. And I think that this is, I mean, as I said in that speech there on Saturday, 400 Americans now have amassed more wealth than 50% of the American households combined. 400 people have more than 155 million people combined. Is that the, I'm sorry, that's not the country I live in. I refuse to participate in this, and I'm going to do my part, whatever I can, to get the word out and get people involved. These protests do matter. In fact, this is one of the few times I could say that in my lifetime. Actually going to a demonstration really has made a difference. And people have got to come out of their homes tomorrow in Lansing, in Madison, in Indianapolis, and across the weekend. They're planning a huge rally in Madison on Saturday afternoon. And this is going to continue on in these other states.
I have a theory about why protests feel more effective and seem to be more effective on this issue than they have on every other issue that you and I have ever observed or participated in demonstrations in the last 20 years. And I think that is because of the political brittleness of what it is they're trying to do. It's important that these guys, to recognize that these guys didn't campaign on stripping collective bargaining rights. They may have demonized unions, they may have talked about downsizing government, they may have talked about some of these other things, but they didn't campaign on dissolving towns by fiat. They didn't campaign on dissolving collective bargaining rights. And the reason they didn't is because they're unpopular. And they're justifying them now by saying there's a crisis. But all it takes is some political pushback against that, and it collapses. It seems to me it collapses very easily.
Yes, and information. You others have provided this information. We're not broke. Wisconsin isn't broke. America isn't broke. We have trillions of dollars in our economy. The problem is that the money isn't where it needs to be. Those 400 people, the upper 1%, their allies, took that money out of circulation. They took that money and it's not there anymore. And they're not being taxed appropriately. And that's why that money isn't there. There's a revenue problem. That's all there is. It's not that because there's debt. There's always debt. If you're making car payments, you're in debt. That doesn't mean you're broke. Wisconsin isn't broke. America isn't broke. The money's just not in the people's hands. It's in the hands of the rich who committed these crimes back on Wall Street, and they got away with it. And that's why, you know, I just have these. I brought these, Rachel. This is my prop for the night. It's not a confetti.
We have a wide shot of what Mr. Moore has brought with him.
I brought these with me. I'd like anybody who works on Wall Street, anybody who works for one of the banks, just take a look at this, okay? Because this is what's coming. This is what's coming for you. Because the people aren't going to take it anymore. The people are going to demand justice. They're going to demand that your ass is in jail. You've taken our money, we want the money back. You've taken our jobs overseas, we want those jobs back. Those are our national resource. Those are not yours to do with as you please. They affect all of us as a society. We have a right to those jobs. We have a right to that money that used to belong to the people of this country. 1 million people evicted from their homes, foreclosed this year. Another 1 million expected this year. I just want to again, if I can, just address the Wall Streeters and the banksters out there. How many more people do you think you can throw out of their homes before they do revolt? How long do you think this is going to go on?
We will be right back with filmmaker Michael Moore.
For 3 weeks you have stood in the cold, slept on the floor, skipped out of town to Illinois. Whatever it took, you've done it. And one thing is certain, Madison is only the beginning. You have aroused a sleeping giant known as the working people of the United States of America. Your message has inspired people in all 50 states. And that message is, we have had it.
Michael Moore speaking to on the order of 50,000 people in Madison this weekend. Joining us again now in studio is award-winning filmmaker Michael Moore. When you were saying we have had it, were you talking about Wisconsin or are you talking about the country? Oh, the country. I think that this Madison movement has turned into a mad nation. I mean, I think that this is, there's demonstrations, like you said, in Boise. I mean, there's places all over the country where this is going on. And I'm very heartened by this. The people I saw there at this demonstration were not the typical people you see at demonstrations. A lot of people mentioned to me this was the first time they'd ever been to a rally. They've really overplayed their hand here. And you know, the irony of all of this, these things that happened today, on this day, on March 9th, 78 years ago today, Franklin Roosevelt began the New Deal. This was the first day of Congress in 1933, and they began the first, debating the first bill that became, so this is known as the birthday today of the New Deal. The fact that this is going on at this time, and I noticed too when you showed your map, the states, it's mostly all northern states. Because they've already, the Republican Party especially has controlled pretty much the South for the better part of the last few decades. And now they're trying to take that philosophy and claim these northern states. And they will win. They will win if people don't stand up. The good news is that they are really just tools, the Republicans, for this upper 1% that has all the loot. The good news is that there's a lot more of us than there are of them. Yes. So thank God for this great country and this democracy and our Constitution that still says it's one person, one vote. And there will be always more of us than them, but if we don't act, they will take it away. They will absolutely take it away. And, you know, right now I'm betting on the people. Everything I've seen and what I think we're going to see over the next few days, I mean, right now, I just heard during the commercial break, they're in the streets in Madison, Wisconsin, right now. Yeah. They're in the streets. They will be in the streets of Lansing tomorrow. They will be in the streets of Indianapolis. The students will be in the streets on Friday afternoon across the country. This thing is, you couldn't organize something like this. This is the rally I went to, and I just kind of showed up. I wrote that speech actually in the middle of the night on Friday night, and I just thought, you know, I don't have anything to do today. I'm just going to get on a plane, and I just flew to Madison unannounced. Let's see if they'll have me. Yeah, I just thought, and if they won't, I'll just hold a sign, you know. But I'm just going to see if they'll let me read this speech. And this rally, they hadn't planned a big rally that day. A guy on Facebook 36 hours earlier had put it out there, hey, let's get together anyways because we're not having a big rally until the following Saturday. Let's just do this. And almost 50,000 people showed up out of nowhere, not knowing even that I was going to be there. And it was just, and it has this whole sort of, can I say, Egyptian feel to it. It's just so grassroots. It's so from, and it's scaring a lot of people in power, and it should. Michael Moore, award-winning filmmaker, and a man who's been very generous with his time with this show. Thank you for being here. Oh no, thank you. Keep putting that information out there. It's so vital. You hear things on this show that you just don't hear elsewhere, and thank God for Ed Schultz too. Let's just say that. God bless Ed, for being out there right at the beginning on this. I should mention Ed Schultz, of course, was among the first people in the news media to identify the story in Wisconsin as a huge deal. He has covered the story like nobody else. He is must-watch television tonight. I think he's got a number of the Democratic state senators on tonight. He's going to make some news tonight in terms of their response. But does he have props like you and I had? But does he have Michael Moore's handcuffs? Or your confetti blower? There. My broken confetti gun? I know. I'm going to work on this in the break. There you go. I got to fix this before I go to the NRA convention. Ed doesn't need any of this. Ed's just coming after him all by his lonesome. We'll be right back. It's the Rachel Maddow Show here on MSNBC.